As one whose life was greatly shaped by the events of 1967, I want to convey some machshava, hashkafic thought, and then become very practical. Generally speaking, if someone were to wake you up in the middle of the night, and the reason I use the example, wake you up in the middle of the night, I learned this from the Rav. The Rav always spoke in terms of balabatish seichel. And there's lamdish seichel and balabatish seichel. Balabatish seichel, the Rav would explain, it means when you have no defense mechanisms. It's your direct reaction to the question. So that's the middle of the night. You wake someone up. His mind hasn't started working with deeper thought, and he gives you a direct answer. If you were to wake anyone up in the middle of the night and ask, what is Yerushalayim? The answer would be the holy city. Truth of the matter is, that answer, of course, is correct, but only partially correct. Yerushalayim is both the holy city and the capital city. The capital city referring to temporal power. And we see this from the prophets. I cite to you from Yirmiyahu Perik Bet, your psukim you're all familiar with from Musaf of Rosh Hashanah. Halach v'karata be'asnei Yerushalayim le'mar kol amach Hashem zachati lachesed nurayich avad kulokayach lech teichacharai b'midbar be'eretz lo zarua, and Kodesh Yisrael LaHashem Reshit Fuato. This is talking about religious commitment, how we followed after the Ribono Shel Olam, how difficult it was to go through the Midbar. In modern times, we can apply it following the Holocaust, following the massive assimilation in the Western world, and the dveikut to Hashem. And what does it lead to? Sanctity. So you see, halach v'karata b'aznei Yerushalayim, and the ultimate result, Kodesh Yisrael LaHashem. On this level, the holy city, inspiration, Beit HaMikdash. But Yeshayahu, Perek Samach Bet, Al Chomotayach Yerushalayim Hifkadati Shomrim, Kol Hayom V'Kol Halayla. And this, of course, is in reference to power, soldiers, troops. When the Kotel was first opened to the wider public on Shavuot, 1967, all along the old city walls, were soldiers. Literally, Al Hamotayach Yerushalayim Hifkadati Shomrim Kol Hayom V'Kol Halayla. You see the same thought in the Gemara, Baba Kama Daf Tzadi Zayin Amid Bet, Tona Rabbanan, Eze Matbeya Shel Yerushalayim. The Gemara, Meritic Gemara, I once wrote a letter to the Israeli authority that deals with coins when it was a government position. Today, I believe it's a private industry. And they put out special memorial coins, commemorative coins. And I suggested to take this Gemara and put out the coins that the Gemara mentions. I didn't succeed. Maybe in the future someone will pick up on the theme. But the Gemara asks, what's the coin of Jerusalem? Davar Shlomo mitzad echad. For Yerushalayim HaKodesh mitzad echad. On one side, obviously, Yerushalayim, the holy city. On the other side, David with Shlomo. No, Malchei Yisrael. It's a much deeper message. The Gemara in Yevamot, Daf Chavdalad Amid Bet, Lo Kiblu Gerim, Lo Bimei David, V'Lo Bimei Shlomo. The Gemara, they didn't accept converts, not during David's reign, not during King Solomon's reign. Why? Because they were so powerful. The army, the king, the temporal strength. People converted not out of commitment and devotion, but because they wanted to be part of the most powerful country at that time in the Middle East. And those are conversions Shalol L'Shem Shemayim. But you see, the coin represents Kedusha and Gevurah. Truth of the matter is that millions of Jews across the world express this thought every Friday night. L'cha Dodi, the most beautiful poem, liturgical addition to the prayer book that all Jews accepted. It's amazing. It's the latest. It's not ancient. It's from Tzfat, the time of the Mekupalim, Reb Shlomo Alkabetz, the Ari HaKadosh, and everyone says L'cha Dodi, sings L'cha Dodi, Migdash Melech, Ir Melucha, Kuli Tzei Mitocha Chafecha, Ravlach Shevet B'Emek HaBacha, V'hu Yachmol Alayir Chemla. Well, take a look. Migdash Melech, holiness, Ir Melucha, capital city, temporal strength, both themes. And then we implore Yerushalayim, rise and accept the greatness, God should have mercy, and return to the fullness of the vision, Kedusha and Gevurah. So you see, it's in the prophets, it's in Chazal, it's in the liturgy. What was unique about 67, and this is the secret to all that has happened subsequently, until 67, our eyes were focused on a Yerushalayim we couldn't reach, we couldn't touch. The city was split in half. The Beit HaMikdash area was not in our hands, but we only thought of Kedusha. It had awakened me in the middle of the night before the 67 war and said to me, Aaron, imagine we captured Jerusalem. What will be the main theme? And of course, I would have spoken in terms of Gevurah. Jewish people then, the secular Zionist, the state, the achievement, the Sinai campaign, strength, Kolchei v'yotzem yadi, new Israel, a new Jewish people, what the secular Zionists spoke about, and they were the absolute majority then. Came the 6-Day War, and a secular country, people who were raised without commitment and understanding of Torah, and all eyes focused on Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. The Gevurah was secondary. The sanctity was prime. I can still recall the Kotel I mentioned before. When they opened it, 250,000 Jews went to the Kotel that Shavuot. People slept all over the parks in Jerusalem, came from all over the country to be able to touch the stones of the Western Wall. You know yourself, there weren't 250,000 religious Jews in Israel at that time. The Kedusha became tangible. And following 67, we have a beautiful synthesis that grows stronger and stronger every day of Yerushalayim, its ultimate message, Ir HaKodesh and Ir HaGevurah. And this has impacted, I'm speaking to you from my office in Gris Kollel, in the campus, the Gris campus. All this came about because of 67, because of the miracles. All the youth, everyone wanted to come, study. Ultimately, out of the youth that came and studied, look how many settled here. Look where the country is today. where we're approaching 7 million Jews al Admat HaKodesh, with over 2 million who are considered Shomer Shabbos Jews, Yehudim Shalom Chalalim Shabbat B'Parchesia, the halachic definition. Millions more who are traditional, where the entire theme of the country, Shabbat, Yom Tov, Kashrut, Tarat Mishpacha, is part of the public thoroughfare. And all this goes back to the miracles of 67. And I want to conclude, give you another beautiful source, the famous Sridei Yesh, Rabbi Chil Yaakov Weinberg. And you can find this in the first edition of the Sridei Yesh, Chelik Gimel, on Siman Pei Daled. And what you have there is a talk that he gave at the bar mitzvah of his most famous student following World War II, Rav Avram Abba Weingart, who lives around the corner from me in Yerushalayim, married to my student. She was in the very first Israeli class I taught in Mechlala back in 71. And they have a beautiful family, the Weingart family. And this was a Talmud Mufak of the Sridei Yesh. This was his bar mitzvah. And at the bar mitzvah, the Sridei Yesh spoke about the pasuk Ki Adam Eitz HaSadeh, that when you have you're seizing a city, when you surround a city, don't destroy trees if you don't have to. Why should trees suffer? Ki Adam Eitz HaSadeh, they're not your enemy. But you see that humans are compared to trees. And the Sridei Yesh asked, how can you make this comparison? Humans are humans, trees are trees. But he said so beautifully that what do trees need to succeed? They need good soil, but they also need good air. They have to be rooted well. It has to be a soil that's rich, nutrients, and they have to have air, oxygen. All this is for them to grow properly. He turned to this little young man, the bar mitzvah boy, in Chutz La'aretz. At the most, a Jew occasionally can go into a shul, go into a beis medrash, go into a yeshiva. He can have a good environment, good air, but the ground is alien. It's not his. It's not sanctified. In Eretz Yisrael, it's the only place in the world where you can have both. You can have wonderful air, environment, but beautiful ground. The land that was given to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And he says to this bar mitzvah boy, if you're smart, later in life, you will go on Aliyah where you can achieve the ultimate of Jewish existence. Both the environment, the air you breathe, and the ground you walk in. And there you can help build a country, a home, a Yerushalayim, where you will help synthesize both the sanctity and the temporal strength which God has granted us with all the miracles we have experienced since the Holocaust. A very, very happy Yom Yerushalayim.